Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wednesday night is truck night in the Sim500. It's going tonight's races. Jeff McConaughey and Joe White.
Alright, good evening, race fans. We're here for the Kickass Beef Jerky Truck Series, and I tell you what, race number 1 of round 3 here tonight for the chase here. And these guys are at the huge track. This is one thing we can definitely agree on. This place is big. The Super Speedway of Talladega, 2.66 miles. Are going to be some mayhem racing here. As the green flag's about to fly, Jeff, I tell you what, it's going to be an awesome one.
Always some great races here at Talladega.
Did you go in the other room?
No, I don't know what's going on. Hang on.
You fine, man. Well, green flag flies, and I tell you what, one thing we definitely going to see here tonight, a lot of side-by-side, door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel action, and out front, E.J. O'Rourke. I tell you, that guy, when we get you the update on who was in the playoffs here and who was not, Right now, you're definitely going to see with these trucks, they're going to stay locked up for the most part, unless there's maybe like a green flag stop. That'll be the only time they'll probably get split up a little bit. Other than that, what you see right now is what you're going to get the rest of the race.
You got that right. Is this any better?
That is better, man. Sounds good.
Okay.
The other one just sounded like it was like went to the kitchen or something.
So sometimes when I switch my microphone from like my headset microphone to like my broadcasting microphone, it just doesn't know what to do, so it makes me sound very far away. But it's fixed. It's all good.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well, you know, you race Talladega. I've raced Talladega. This place can be, I always say it's a wild card style track because you just never know what you're going to get when you come here. You can actually come in here with high hopes of saying, yeah, I'm going to finish this place and be up front and do all kinds of great things, and then end up in a wreck. You'll see all kinds of different strategies. Some guys want to stay up front. Some want to stay in the back.
You know, this is probably the only track, one of the only tracks where I am more than happy to run dead last, because you either want to be in front, ahead of all the wrecks, or you want to be way behind all the wrecks. You know the wrecks are going to happen, and when they happen, they are big because you're driving around here at 200 miles an hour. But it's just as good a move, just as good a strategy to be in dead last as it is to be in first place.
Yeah, and you're right, absolutely right there. As we seeing a lot of these trucks right now, still side by side, locked together, 2 by 2 all the way throughout the field, and that's just pretty much how they're going to be right now. As you see Jeff Ryan, EJ Rourke up front, and you just alluded to it right there, Jeff. I mean, I've seen guys at this track do amazing things. I'm not saying qualifying's not very important here, but it's not the most important thing, because I have seen guys winning from the pole, middle, back. I've even seen guys start on pit road 2 laps down and win this race. Obviously, everything has to fall in line for it to do that, but it just can be done. It's just so many variables at a track like this, especially with, I mean, here you go. Just for instance, the whole field right now is within, about 3 seconds of each other. So you're pretty much, the whole field's in a blanket right now.
Exactly. And someone actually towards the back of the field is Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller, one of the Chase drivers, is back there with Trey Edson, Daniel Falkingham, Brian Macklin, and Chad Coleman. They've all formed a little party back here along with Josh Parker, and they are about 7/10 back from the main pack. They're playing it safe right now. These drivers know they don't have to be up front. They don't need to be anywhere close to the front right now. Just hang back for a little while, let the chaos sort itself out, and maybe around lap 55 or so, you'll start making a push to the front. Stay close enough to strike, but far enough back to avoid any wrecks. That's the key.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, right now, the 6 drivers that are in a round of 6 here, and remember, tonight, if one of these drivers wins, they will go to the Final 4 to Battle for Championship at Phoenix. We've got 3 races left before we go to the Final 4 here in the final race of the season. Talladega, one of them. The Rock will be the next week, and then we go to Martinsville short track. But you've got Daniel Falkingham, Trey Edson, Brian Macklin, Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, and Ryan Howard is all the guys right now. Again, the place like this, and there's 3 wide storming down the back stretch right now, but a place like this is such a wild card race. A lot of guys feel, if I could just make it out of here with a good points night, I'm happy. Some would love to win this race, but this place here is just an unknown. Now, with that said, though, next week's race, the Rockingham, and I know that you had a prior commitment, you won't be here on that one, but the Rockingham, to me, it's another kind of unknown style track because they don't run at that one a lot either.
That's a tough track, too.
It is.
It's not just a place you don't run at often. It's a really tough track. It's like Bristol, but longer. That's really the best way to approach it. The mindset going in is it's like Bristol. It's chaotic. It's tough. You got to be on top of your game.
Yes, you do. Right now, though, you Scott Stencil out front. I'm gonna tell you what, he has really jumped up here and made some waves here late in the season. Got a couple great finishes here in the playoffs here series so far. This is a track that he is very well familiar with, and if anybody doesn't know who Scott Stencil is, I finally got to talk to him there one time. He was in 3rd place. Eventually got to talk to him here at Sim500. Very nice guy there, and but he's run the trucks in real life. Very familiar with this place in real life. So if he can take any of that knowledge from the real world, bring it over here somewhat, got some great teammates. And one, he'll probably tell you patience is a thing here, and also just being in the right place, right time.
Absolutely. Putting yourself in a bad position early on will absolutely ruin the race, because unlike most other tracks, at Talladega, if you're involved in a wreck, there's almost no chance you're going to be able to continue competing. You have the draft, but you have to be able to keep up with the trucks ahead of you. So any sort of aero damage, especially any engine damage, and you're going to be in trouble. So the best key here is to keep the car in good shape and out of trouble.
I always like bringing this up, kind of a tech thing here on the channel when I talk about it. We're riding along with Kevin Brown. He is right there tucked up, looks like behind Jeff Ryan on the outside. You can see we're in the cockpit view. All you see is that big front spoiler in the front. Now he is on the outside. I want to show something going down the front stretch. As he heads off into turn one, you can see right there, he can see the yellow line as he goes off into there since he's at the top. Now, just for kind of reference sake here, let me see if I can't get another good shot. Let's go over to Tommy Ryan on the inside. Now he's a little further back. He might be able to see. Might not be the best of, try to see if I can't get somebody that's a little closer. As you see Tommy Ryan, now he's not tucked up there. Actually, EJ O'Rourke is. EJ right there, you can see with him being tucked up on the inside. Down on the bottom groove, a lot of times, as close as they are, all they see is that front side spoiler. I have made this mistake many a times here, Jeff, going into the turn and losing where the yellow and where the apron of the track is and getting down there too far down on the apron and messing it up. You see EJ going in, and the good thing is Scott Stencil gave him a little room on the inside, but there EJ almost went down the apron. That's just all you see is that big spoiler. You cannot see much in front of you down low. I always preferred the higher line here at Talladega.
You know, I think the benefit here is you can run any line. I personally love to be down there on the bottom, hugging the apron, painting the double yellow line. That's what I always tell people when I'm running there. Especially if I'm pushing someone, I just say, listen, man, you let me worry about my temperatures. You let me worry about pushing you. All you got to do is just paint that double yellow line. Keep the left side tires on it, and we will fly.
Yep. There you go. And again, that's just the joy of this place here, so to speak. It's just anything can work. It's not really like a one style groove, one style fits all type of thing. Now, the one thing you have to know is you can't cross the yellow line. And I know there was a big controversy with that back this past Talladega in the real world with Denny Hamlin. And again, it all depends on how you feel about it, folks. I saw the replay, and, you know, how my opinion, it's going to probably be different than most people. He crossed the yellow line. Anyways, that's just, bottom line is you're not supposed to cross the yellow line and advance your position. It applies here in iRacing too. Now, that is also by the league. The league can say, well, if you want to, you know, go below the yellow line, you can. So obviously here in the Sim500, no, you cannot. So what you just said right there about the bottom lane is very, very good information to use, because a lot of guys you'll see, especially going down the front in the back stretch, they're going to hug that bottom line because they know the guy can't pass them down low.
Exactly, and I think you're right there, though, with the call you mentioned about NASCAR. The rule is you can't go below the double yellow to advance your position, and if you do get forced below the double yellow, you got to get right back on track, and someone did not get right back on track when that happened. They sort of took their sweet time, and they penalized the wrong one. Matt DiBenedetto should have won that race. That was a horrible call by NASCAR.
And it was, and again, you ask five different people, you'll get five different opinions on it. You know, and obviously everybody has talked about, like, well, they were forced down, blah blah blah. They were avoiding a wreck, and either way you look at it, I mean, it is, to me, if they're going to enforce a rule like that, whether you're forced or whether you're avoiding a wreck, I feel like if you go below it, period, on any search, it's almost like the pit road rule that we talked. Actually, I think we talked about this in one of the races there, Jeff. The pit road rule. You can't just go blowing down pit road at 150 mile an hour, even if you're avoiding a wreck. You have to try to slow down on pit road, or you will get a black flag in the real world. From what I understand, and that's a safety issue there. So you know, even avoiding a wreck on pit road, they don't allow you to go flying down through there at 100-some mile an hour. And if you do, or whatever, if you do, and you don't attempt to, let's say attempt to try to slow down and back out, then yeah, you will get the black flag. So again, everybody has an opinion on it. NASCAR stoked with what they had, but we just want to bring that up because that is a thing, here at Talladega. Ain't go below that yellow line, and it applies to here at the Sim500. Hey, let us know how y'all feel out there in the chat too. We love all the comments and everything. And right now you see EJ O'Rourke though, he's leading the freight train, and I'm gonna tell you what, Kevin Brown.
Not for long.
I know Kevin Brown is another fast one here.
Wow, look at that run they got on the outside, and that wasn't them being particularly fast. That was EJ O'Rourke suddenly getting slow. So when those two cars behind him jumped out, that left a 2-car gap to the next truck behind him, and in that time, that pulls EJ O'Rourke back to the guy behind him and lets the guys on the outside slingshot around him. But now, I think that 2-car with the big number 6 on the side, I don't think he's going to be all too happy with Kevin Brown. He sort of jumped out and bailed on him. Chris Chabot might, next time Kevin Brown needs something, Chris Chabot might say, sorry, not my problem right now.
You're right, and we see that a lot. Guys get up top there, they get out front, then they decide to leave their dancing partner, and it's long gone. One thing I do notice about these trucks, they definitely suck up to the back end of the truck in front of them very, very quickly, and we see that a lot. As you can see, the top side coming to light, 3 trucks up there, Scott Stencil, Chris Chabot, and company there. You've got down low EJ O'Rourke and Kevin Brown. We'll see if they can hold them off. Hard chargers, but these trucks are moving around a lot too.
That they are. They're doing a lot of moving and shaking, and it's hard to keep control, especially on the straightaway here. And look at EJ O'Rourke now abandoning Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown goes to block, but look at that run up on the outside. You got Chris Chabot leading Scott Stenzel. Chris goes down. Scott doesn't follow, though. Now Scott's leading the outside line. I think he's going to get around Chris. I don't know what, man, who did Chris Chabot make angry? Because nobody's working with them.
Well, here's the thing I wanted to ask, and it always puzzled me, because I always say, your dancing partner brought you to the party and then you're going to leave them out to dry. What is the benefit? And we see it all the time, just like that with Chris Chabot, and we could see it with Scott Stencil here. If they get out front, they instantly drop down low. I don't know if maybe it is a draft thing or if it's just you feel more comfortable down low like you were speaking of earlier. But why would you not want to stay up there and try to take, bring those cars up? Obviously, we know once you get out front, and the late, great Dale Earnhardt did this a lot here because he dominated this track, is when you get out front, you try to go to lane to break the draft between each side. But again, with that said, I never understood it here on iRacing. You see it time and time again. Just like Kevin Brown here. I guarantee, watch, he's going to get up there, go to the lead, and then instantly drop down low. Why not stay with the guys that brought you to the party? Right there. There you go. See, it mind boggles me. What is your thought on that one?
It's blowing my mind as well, because you are right now a fifth of the way through this race. We're 20% of the way there. It's still early. The big one has not happened. You want to make friends right now. So even if it takes a little bit longer, you run on the outside for another lap or two, trying to get that run going and pull that guy clear. When you pull that guy there clear and you help him out and make sure he doesn't get hung out to dry, they're going to remember that. And the next time you need help, you need a dancing partner, they're going to stick their neck out for you and make sure you don't get left hung out to dry. People will remember that. And race car drivers, man, they've got good memories. And they will,
yes,
they will remember when you need help.
Yes, they do. And you see right now, though, Scott Stencil has held up there with EJ O'Rourke, so they've been able to, tag team a little bit and hold up there. And Scott right there, he did have the opportunity to drop down. So, lo and behold, he stayed up there with EJ. Now, obviously, the inside lane was able to rumble back, but they're stayed dead even. I've always said this also, too. You do not have to pass the truck or car to win this race. You just got to get your nose out front. We've seen it many a times, a drag race to the line, Talladega, Daytona, where it's been by inches right there, going to the front. So, if you're the type of person that really just doesn't worry about, the inside lane and you want to hold up there at the top side, right now it looks like that's what Scott Stencil is. He's happy with the pusher he's got of EJ O'Rourke. That's another thing you mentioned right there. You might not be comfortable with the guy behind you, and you might want somebody different. Now you just saw Kevin Brown do the opposite. He jumped up top.
Wow. That is a move that I can tell you from personal
Oh, the
experience
wall!
is going to really piss people off, and that right there is why.
Oh.
When you're jumping from lane to lane, it never works out well. And Scott Stenzel there is unfortunately... Now look at this. No one's going to work with Kevin. Everyone saw what just happened, and they are just going to let him fall to the back.
Yeah,
Race car drivers
you gotta
remember
have
things like
friends.
that.
You know, as much as you might think you have the fastest truck here, and whatnot. And I understand, you know, Talladega brings about it a lot of passing, a lot of aggressive moves because it's plate track racing, you know, and nobody really has the definitive advantage of going by front. There are 3 wide aggressive moves. You see the 5 machine there of Mike Motesi going to get caught in the middle. E.J. O'Rourke's going to rumble to the front. Now he's got Kevin Brown right there. And I'm trying to see who the other one is. Is that Jeff Ryan? What's that 9 car? 9. Is it 9? Who is that? It's a 3. Oh, it's the 3. My bad. Yeah, it is Jeff Ryan. The iRacing machine. Yep.
Yeah, now he's up on the outside with Kevin Brown. They're 2 wide looking for the lead. I don't know if they're going to get it. That's 2 trucks on the outside, 3 on the inside. And where there's more trucks, there's more power. You got a little bit of a stronger lane down there on the bottom. It's going to take a lot for Jeff Ryan to push Chris Brown ahead of the leaders here.
Curiosity, let's see if we can't get a close view. Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage on Scott Stenzel's trucks. Just a little bit on the right nose there. I know he popped that wall. The problem is here at Talladega now, he should be okay if he stays tucked up behind someone. He gets out front, obviously it's like a brick wall. It'll kind of stop the truck because this place is very, very aero dependent, being a plate style track. Now, where he's sitting at now, he definitely needs to get a lot closer to that truck in front of him to help him out. If he can catch the draft, maybe get up there, tuck up underneath, and go to it. You alluded to it a little bit ago there, Jeff. The big one. We always say it's not if, it's when it will happen because usually, now, Sim500 has gone caution-free at Daytona and at Talladega, so that, you know, I'm not going to say that they will have one, but it's usually lurking in the weeds at a place like this.
You're absolutely right. There's always 99.99999% of Talladega and Daytona races have a big one. It may be lap 1, it may be lap 5, it may be lap 37, and it may be lap 75 here. You never know. And Jeff Ryan now with a big run. Look at Scott Stenzel. He's pushing Kevin Brown now. Once again, looks like they might have settled that there. And will Kevin Brown leave Scott Stenzel? No, he thinks better of it. But 3 wide for the lead right now. Jeff Ryan and Tyler Dalton up on the outside. And this right here, this 3 wide for the lead, this is why the playoff drivers are hanging out around 18th, 19th, 20th. They're going to let these guys fight it out. You don't need to do anything crazy right now.
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely wanting to get out of here with a good points and idea. They would love to win, love to put it in victory lane here tonight. But this 3 wide battle up front, I mean, Chris Jabou, Kevin Brown, Jeff Ryan, E.J. O'Rourke, Scott Stenzel. Again, Stenzel, I say, even with the small damage, if he stays tucked up behind someone, he should be okay. It's when he gets out front, maybe the truck will suffer. Right now, he's pushing a man on the inside. Looks like the high lane up there, the real high lane, is not going like it needs to. Could come into the race here later. Scott Stenzel, though, you remember he said he's not going to forget the move on Kevin Brown. Well, he's right there all over the back bumper tailgate party of Kevin. And, you know, we'll have to see. Don't want to do anything crazy. Remember, again, bump drafting. There's a couple places you don't want to do that here, unless it's the last lap, obviously, is going into a turn, through a turn, and into the tri-ovals and out of the tri-ovals. Those are really the places you don't want to do it. And look at this 3 wide rumble up front.
These guys are getting crazy, but the guy that comes out on top, Jeff Ryan, up on top. Now he and Tyler Dalton are together. Looks like they're clear. Jeff Ryan goes to the middle, tries to pull Tyler Dalton down with him. Doesn't go. Now Tyler's run out of room. Filling that hole there is the 55. He's got the run coming in, and now Tyler Dalton shuffled to the outside. Jeff Ryan trying to side draft. Coming up is E.J. O'Rourke to the middle lane. That's going to leave the front 2 trucks out by themselves, all on their lonesome. But the inside line has the advantage. They've got more trucks. let's see what they can do down there on the bottom.
Very good racing still up front. Right now, I do not see anybody with a distinct advantage up front. The lead has swapped many a times there as we're going through the motions up front. Here's Kevin Brown's leading it for the moment. You got EJ on the outside. And I also do not see anybody that is favoring anyone. We go back to teammates and so forth, but right now it just kind of looks like the Wild West up there. Everybody for themselves.
That's kind of what these races are. You want to have your friends out there, but you also don't want to have too many. You don't want to get too many people relying on you, too many other people that you got to worry about. You got to focus on your own race. You got to go out and run your own race and focus on you and make sure that you're the one coming out of this in victory lane.
Yeah. Now, got to throw out something here because you gave me some information here before the race here. And, unless folks, man, y'all just not been listening about the whole entire season here, Mr. Old Jeff McConey up here, he runs the McConey Setup Shop. That's some awesome stuff. I know you've seen the post out there on Facebook, but said you've got something new now. And y'all made a big announcement about it as far as your setups and all go.
That's right. If you're not one of the 13,000 people, which absolutely blows my mind, that saw the post that went up yesterday, we've now got one of the top dirt iRacers, over 9,000 iRating. He's a world-class pro, World of Outlaws winner, feature event winner on multiple occasions. Evan CA, one of the best. Really, really awesome guy. Is building our setups. He's doing the pro late models, super late models. He can do limited late models and dirt street stocks if you do it for a league, but those are both fixed setups here on iRacing, as well as the dirt UMP modified. And these setups have been selling like crazy. I mean, we sold well more than we expected to. Today alone, we put them up not even 12 hours ago, and they are just selling like absolutely crazy. We've gotten rave reviews. People are winning on them straight out the gate. So if you want to grab them, it's $10. You get the qualifying, which is the tacky set. You get a qualifying set and a race set for just $10. You can get a full seat, like through the rest of 20S4 for $40. So that saves you $10 right there. Or you can get all 3 cars for the official series for $100. That's saving you even more money. So that is, quick maths here, 15 setups, 30 setups, because you get 2 setups per one. So saving you quite a bit of money, about 35% in total there is being saved by buying in bulk. But these setups are really, really something else. I didn't want to start up a dirt program. Everyone asked for a long time, Jeff, when are you going to get McConey Setup Shop on dirt? When's that coming? I just said, just be patient. I promise when the time is right, I'll do it. I don't put out anything unless I am sure that it is the best. And when Evan came on board, I knew these were going to be the best. So, and we got the best for sale, best setups at the best price, and we are really, really proud of the product. So grab them over today, www.mcconeysetupshop.com.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, that is awesome because, definitely got a lot of dirt stuff. We got a lot of dirt action here on OSR Network, online simracingnetwork.com. Check us out on the GeForce Racing there and GeForce Racing TV. Obviously here at the Sim500, these guys do an awful lot of racing. They have a dirt program here. Not sure if the used fixtures or open setups here, but I know they have dirt racing here at the Sim500. Check it out on Tuesday nights. Something they might want to look in, like I said, at the McConey Setup Shop there. And hey, I know you got a lot of asphalt stuff too, a lot of guys out there road racing and whatnot. But right now, Kevin Brown's a man out front. He's been leading pretty good here for the Kickass Beef Jerky Truck Series. And speaking of Kickass Beef Jerky, you see the little promo code down there. Use Sim500. You get 19% off. Me and Jeff's had some of their product. And I'm going to tell you what, if you like beef jerky, I mean, that's the foremost thing you got to ask. If you love beef jerky and like it, definitely check out kickassbeefjerky.com. And we want to appreciate them guys coming on board here with Sim500. Been a long time sponsor, long time, involvement here with the Sim500. And I got to give a good shout out here, Joey Christina and these guys here at Sim500 for allowing me to bring these races to y'all. And, been working with these guys for a long, long time to bring some great races. And they've got some something for a little bit for anybody out there. If you want to race, check them out at sim500.com. Check out Kickass Beef Jerky at kickassbeefjerky.com. and get you some beef jerky and sit back and enjoy this race. Right now, it's a good one.
You're absolutely right, and that beef jerky is seriously second to none. We were lucky enough to get some a couple months back. Gosh, can you believe that was back when quarantine first started?
I know.
That is amazing.
It's amazing that the season is coming down to an end here. We forgot about after tonight, it really is only going to be 3 more races left. Talladega here is going to be 4 races, as this one's usually, like I say, the wild card racing. We got the Rockingham, Martinsville, and then we go to Phoenix and we crown a champion at Phoenix, which is kind of odd for me to say because usually I'm so used to saying Homestead, but this year it boils down to Phoenix, and it's going to be a wild one. Looks like pit stops might be happening here.
Oh no, Jeff Ryan gets wrecked. Oh no.
And
they're still wrecking. The 86 is halfway around.
Go back and watch because I did not see. There's no caution. They actually was coming on pit road when that happened. So let's go back to Jeff Ryan here. The reason there was no caution is I think they were coming in for pit stops here. And let's watch it. You see Jeff right here.
Goes from the top lane.
Yeah, he goes to top lane. And I think what he's doing is he's backing off to try to get out of the way here to go. And watching this. And then he has to go. He's going in with everybody. Oh, and he just did not see the 4 car when he went down.
Yeah.
And he caught the inside lane, caught the 87. They slid. And the 87, that's a good save on his end right there. 86, excuse me. Good save. That's Todd Kirkwood. That was a good save on his end. But yeah, no caution because that was, obviously coming in on pit road. But yeah, he went all the way from the bottom down in. But a slew of pit stops, green flag stops here. We mentioned it before. It's probably the only way that this place is going to get split up a little bit. Is green flag stops. So far, these guys have been very patient out here. You've got 2 chase drivers out front, Chad Coleman, Daniel Falkenham. Those 2 are definitely going to be sitting here going, yeah, want to get some bonus points by leading, but I want to be careful too with that, here at Talladega.
You're right. It's risk versus reward. Chad Coleman now coming down pit road. Daniel Falkenham with a very aggressive pit entry, but makes it work. He's got Josh Parker right behind him. Jason Barham decides to stay out. Mike Montesi there with him. There's Justin Fuller. Here he comes up on the outside, along with the 20 of Trey Edson and the 77 as well of Brandon Webb.
Yeah, it is. You said we haven't mentioned much about old Justin Fuller. He's been hanging out in the back, and like we said, most of these guys. Now, with that said, different strategies. We mentioned it at the beginning of the race. Guys might get out here, stay in the back, come to the front. What this green flag stop's going to do is it's definitely going to split the packs up just a little bit. And now strategy, I think, is going to come into it a little bit more. You see Trey Edson and obviously Justin Fuller right there working together. And here comes that Packer car of trucks. And that's the one thing we've seen too, is you don't really want to come down here by yourself on pit road. You want to come in a pack so that when you come off pit road, you've got a pack to come with you to help you get back up to speed.
Exactly. Pitting by yourself here can really, really ruin your night. It will ruin your night because you just have no speed. You have to be in a draft with other cars. Jason Barham now on pit road, but Justin Fuller down there, Trey Edson, Brandon Webb, all on pit road. Here comes Brian Macklin down right now. I think that'll cycle Daniel Falkenham around to the lead.
It should. Let's see what happens here. Daniel Falkenham, obviously the first one who came out here. Now he's got some trucks right there along with him, with the 52 machine of Sean Casto. And you see them coming around. They're going to catch that. So Justin Fuller and them hopefully might be able to catch on the back end of this pack here. Still a bunch up here, though. Josh Parker, Nick Silver, Paul Moran. And there's another one. That's another thing about this track, too, there, Jeff. First-time winners. This place is notorious for it.
You're right, because anything can happen, like going 3 wide for the lead here on lap 34, about halfway through the race. They think about it, they think better of it, The 38, Chad Coleman now giving a good push to Daniel Falkingham, getting him around here. They're coming off turn 4.
That's Kevin Brown and company, and Kevin Brown has got a good pusher there behind him of Chris Jaboo. Looks like those two trucks are hooked up pretty good. Earlier they were. Kevin Brown is, it seems to me, he wants to be one of those trucks that wants to stay up front for most of it. Again, we see different strategies and different folks here. And Chris Jaboo thought about getting down there. Trey Edson or Tyler Dalton, no room for him to be able to get in between them. As you see, Kevin Brown left him out again. And like what you just said, you keep leaving a driver out in the cold, so to speak. After a while at the end of the race, he's going to think about that.
I'm sure that bet is already made. Once you leave someone hung out to dry, the only way you can make that right and basically smooth things over with them is stick your neck out for them and make sure they know, hey, I'm sorry, that was my bad. Let me help you this time around. And that's really the only way to fix it, because drivers will not forget something like that. If you hang them out to dry, they'll remember.
Yeah. What's up, Ray? How you doing? Hey, from Michigan? Yeah. Was it cold up there in Michigan? Kind of a little, not really cold down here in the NC, but hey, how you doing out there, Ray? Appreciate you tuning in here. Good one so far. Kevin Brown up there, but Daniel Falkingham's the man leading it right now. He's got Chad Coleman hooked up. There's two chase drivers up there along with it. Josh Parker, Kevin Brown right there. You got Josh Parker. Matt, is that Mara? How you say that?
Mara? I would say Mara.
Okay. Sounds good. He's out there up front in 9th place, and you know you're going to see these guys just change. You see right there, Tyler Dalton's going to jump up there with Tommy Ryan. That's another name here in the chase. I tell you, he's been a heavy hitter. He's been up there throughout this whole entire chase. He's been up there. Another thing here, and let me see if I can get us some information on it. Tonight is a no bull race too. And if Nick Cohan, if you're out there listening, because Nick Silver used to on the Facebook stuff, put all the information of that stuff out there for no bull and whatnot. But there is no information here on the Discord side of stuff for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. Oh, behold, there is for everything else, but I don't see it here. So I know this should be the final race for the no bull. I would love to know who the contenders are and so forth and so on. But so if Nick, if you're out there, and I'll see if I can find any information on it. If you're out there listening, or anyone in the league is listening, please maybe see if you can't throw it out there in the chat for us, or shoot me a message over on the Facebook side of things, and just kind of let me and Jeff know up here who might be running for that good money.
And beef jerky. Beef jerky. Beef jerky is pretty darn good.
Well, the no bull race, here's the lowdown on what that is, and obviously we can go to Sim500 and go to the series here at the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck. It is a season opener at Daytona, and it's the races at Charlotte, Darlington, and Talladega. Will serve as the 4 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky no bull races is what they are. The Daytona 5, or the Daytona winner, will receive one 25 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky gift pack of their choosing. The top 4 finishers from each no bull race will be eligible drivers for the next one. The top finisher of those 4 in each of the no bull races will also receive a 25 gift pack. Obviously, generosity from Jeff Barham and the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. So, again, not sure of the 4 drivers in this race that are eligible for that. Usually I have that information, and I apologize to all the folks out there on that, because normally I'm able to get that information through other sources and so forth. So, no one's listening on the league side, a message, please, and definitely, because I want to get that out there too. I mean, along with, chase stuff going on here tonight. This is the first race, round of 3. 6 drivers out here tonight are racing for it.
Absolutely, and props to Jason Barham as well for putting that up for the drivers. And you got to think that's his small business right there, and he's going out and giving away some awesome product. Not just giving away product, giving away some awesome product, letting the guys choose, getting the beef jerky of their choice. That is awesome stuff. So shout out to him. Jason Barham having a great night out here tonight, still running out there, having a good run, led some laps, and giving away some great beef jerky. You can't complain about that at all.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Well, right now, 2x2 up there. Sure what that was in the background beeping. But 2x2 up front, side by side.
Looks like everyone's forgiven Kevin Brown for earlier where he was jumping out of line and sort of going side to side. I think he's calmed down a little bit. He might have been a little bit nervous there towards the beginning, but now that he's sort of found his pace here, he's right in front of Daniel Falkingham. They're going around some lap traffic there, 3 wide for a moment. But look at this inside line. Kevin Brown leading it, eating up the most fuel, wasting the most fuel since he's leading the line. Daniel Falkingham can sit in second and relax. Chad Coleman in third. There, I'm not dying. I promise I'm okay. Daniel Falkingham in second, Chad Coleman third on the inside line. Up on the outside, Christian Boo, Paul Moraine making it work out there, but those guys just sort of riding right here. They're just riding around and relaxing.
Well, they maybe kind of eat my words there a little bit. I said the green flag pit stops would split them up a little bit. Lo and behold, they're all back in a pack again. So it kind of just didn't work out like I was thinking, because now the whole field's back up here in a bunch. Kind of cool, and that's usually just what Talladega is all about. Frustrating as a driver, exciting as a viewer here to watch. You know, these trucks just storm around this place, inches upon inches with each other there. But as a driver, you know, and I know here, Jeff, that it's just very frustrating to know you can't go anywhere, and any wrong move, it could cause a big wreck and your day over with.
Right, and even any bit of small damage can really ruin the entire night.
We talk to drivers, and a lot of times, and not only plate track races, but other tracks, they talk about it's so aero dependent, you just can't walk away from the field, and we hear the frustration in their voice, because they're like, well, you know, we got a fast truck, but we just can't get away. We get out front, we just can't get away from the field. You know, race car drivers love getting out there dominating. The one thing I've known and heard mostly is they don't like it when they get out front and then they just can't run away from the field, and they're just kind of stuck. Next thing you know, here comes a group of cars or trucks going blowing right by you.
Yeah, and I mean, I can also agree with that. I can tell you from experience, when you're out front, you're wanting to pull away. You're wanting to get away from everyone else and go and run your own race. Kind of hard to do that when everyone's all bunched up together drafting off of you.
Absolutely. So, up top, side by side right there, looking pretty good with Kevin Brown, Christian Boo, Daniel Falkingham, Paul Moran, Chad Coleman. All top 5 right now for the moment, but you still see side by side, door to door action here. These guys, man, are a high lane though. Oh, Christian Boo, he's still hanging up there tough.
Absolutely, he is. That outside line, he and Paul are making it work out there, but now they're sort of falling apart. Here comes a big run in the middle. Josh Parker, he's going to give really a close call there. Could have given a bigger shot to Christian Boo, but he let off. Probably a smart move here. That's going to let the third lane die out. Middle outside lane is going to be strong.
Good one so far, as you still see right there, door to door, Christian Boo, Kevin Brown, Josh Parker and company there, Daniel Falkingham. As now Christian Boo's going to battle for the lead. He's got Josh Parker pushing him. See, man, Parker's not able to get him up front. See, Christian Boo right now. Hey, look how strong Kevin Brown is tonight. Looks like he's on to put this thing in victory lane, because he's not wanting to give up that top spot.
No, he's not, and frankly, I can't blame him. He's got to go out there, and I think if you're a non-chase driver, you're out there to win. You're there to win and win alone. You're not worried about anything else whatsoever. You're there to make something happen. And Kevin Brown, Chris Chabot, Josh Parker, Scott Stenzel, all running up there in the top 5, trying to prove that they are still some of the best out here and get a win here tonight at one of the craziest tracks.
Absolutely, and up front you still got, like I say, Kevin Brown, Chris Chabot right there, Daniel Falkenham. Scott Stenzel's been on to fight back up to 5th place, 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Parker.
There they go, up on the outside. He's got the 30 car pushing behind him. Look at them go. A little bit shaky in the middle from Scott Stenzel. Could be that front end damage. It's hard to keep those cars under control once they've got a little bit of front end damage. Now they're 3 wide for the lead. Kevin Brown getting a push from Daniel Falkenham, who's getting a push from Chad Coleman. Those 3 on the bottom have been strong, but up on the outside looking stronger. That's Josh Parker leading the way. Tyler Dalton now joining the fray on the outside line. The 3rd lane is 3 cars deep. The middle lane, though, prevails. Look at that run. They've got Scott Stenzel not clear. We're going to see that middle lane all of a sudden die out as he's got all that front end damage. Now the inside line is looking strong.
Well, I tell you what, they're 3 wide, triple deep right there. That was awesome to look at as they storm off past the line here. Like you just said, Scott Stenzel would love to have another truck probably in front of him right now, because it's not going to benefit him. We'll see how long he can hang on to it in that middle lane. But Josh Parker's still up high. He's got the 30 machine there. Brian Macklin with him. That's Brian Macklin. Sure. Brian Macklin? Yeah. Macklin's way off the pace. Put that lap down, I think. He's back at 25th. So Macklin would love to get up there, maybe get that lucky dog if a caution does fly.
Absolutely. That's what he's there for. He's racing for the lucky dog. He's not going to do anything crazy, not going to dice anything up. But Daniel Falkenham looking on the outside, looking for a push from Scott Stenzel. Chad Coleman fills the hole now. Inside line looking strong. Let's see what this middle lane can do, though.
And as long as Scott Stenzel, I said again, stays tucked up behind someone, they should be okay. He'll be able to push just fine. It's just he won't be able to pull, trucks around with that damage on the front nose of it. So Daniel Falkenham dropping down on the inside there with him on the top side, and Stenzel's going to be able to help him. Here comes Macklin and company with Josh Parker. So 4 trucks high, 4 trucks low. It's a stalemate. Let's see who's got it. What's up, Michael? How you doing? Temp 46 here, Ohio. Yeah, cold, no snow. There you go. I hear you.
I'm in Indiana, man. I know the feeling. It's cold. I had to walk a mile over to CVS today to get my flu shot so that I could stay on campus because everyone has to get a flu shot.
All right, now. I ain't had one of them in like forever.
I know, neither had I, but I went over. I had to get one today. No choice at all.
Tell them you got one and did.
You have to like submit the whole thing with the paperwork and prove you were there and this, that, and the other. There's no 2 ways about it.
Technicalities, you gotta love it.
I know, my man.
Well, right now, one thing about technical here is these guys definitely want to get this thing done and put it behind them in the books here. And Chris Chabot would love to put it in victory lane. Daniel Falkenham would love to win it because that would push him in to the final 4. And that way he doesn't have to really worry about the Rock and Martinsville because, we talk about Talladega so much being a wild card race. Rockingham could be, and definitely Martinsville. That's short track race, so that's kind of like those bump and run style places. So this round of races here, Jeff, all 3 of these tracks are kind of an unknown.
I would definitely agree with that, and they're as far from each other as you can get. Where Rockingham is, it's similar to Bristol. I should say that, in that when I approach Rockingham, I look at it as a larger Bristol. If I'm building a setup for it, I will build off of a Bristol setup. The banking is similar, the driving style is similar, where you're holding it and you're just out there trying your best to basically defend positions. It's not so much about passing other cars, it's about defending your own position, it feels like, at Rockingham. And then Bristol, which is short track, aggressive racing. It's tough. It is very, very aggressive driving out there. you have to be really on top of your game. You're playing a lot of defense at Rockingham, and you're playing a lot of offense at Bristol.
Yeah, and like I say, we talk about this next week's race there at Rockingham. Very bumpy style track too. Knocks trucks around, cars around that place. So you have to be up on the wheel a lot, as opposed to here, you pretty much just have to keep your nerves up a lot here because you're tucked up behind somebody or out there front and somebody's tucked up behind you at this place, and you got to put your truck in the right place at the right time. Made the moves out front. Boy, I tell you what, Kevin Brown again is going to try to block that high lane, and they say, you know what? We're going to split you in the middle this time. Out front, Chad Coleman, Daniel Falkenham. Again, if you're a chase driver, though, how much of that up there do you want to get involved in? Because one slight move could really put you in a hole here after tonight.
And if I'm out there, I'm one of the chase drivers. Here's what I'm thinking about. We haven't had a big wreck yet. We haven't had a wreck yet. More importantly, we haven't had a big wreck yet, and it's brewing. I can tell you for certain, it is brewing. And these guys, when they wad them up, I'm afraid it's going to be large, because that is the trend here at Talladega. If it's not many wrecks, it's one big one.
And, you know, you've got guys up here, I've always said it time and time again, I love it. You got guys up here who, non-chase drivers, chase drivers, and I love seeing the non-chase guys get up here, try to run for a win. Right now, Kevin Brown definitely is wanting to win this thing along with Chris Jabou up there. Those two guys have been fast all night long. You know, Chad Coleman, another truck, he'd love to put in victory lane too, because, hey, that'd seal his ticket to the Final Four there. The battle for a championship. Here comes Scott Stencil up high. Got Brian Macklin. Macklin would love to just, he'd be the one who loves right now to see, can we get a caution? Maybe not. I don't want to be in it or cause it. But can maybe we get somebody to throw a can on the track and put in virtual style cautions out for us.
Sort of, it's tough when you're out there in that position. You both want a caution, and you, at the same time, really don't. Yep. You are going to be close on fuel to the end here. Some drivers, I believe. Well, let me check the fuel numbers here. If they
went around 30-32 was the lap that they went.
Man, they are not going to make it on fuel. So one more pit stop is imminent. When do you make it, though? That's the question. How much fuel do you take? Do you take tires? What all is going through your mind is a big checkup on the inside line. Chad Coleman causes it. Now the outside line prevails.
Yeah, it does. Right now, looking pretty good so far. So you see him up there. Still, that high lane's a place to be, though. A low line right now, though. My bad. Well, are you seeing anything out there that you would do different?
If I'm one of the chase drivers, I've been keeping an eye on Daniel Falkingham mainly. If I'm him, I'm trying to get out front. I think he's right now in the worst position possible. You don't want to be in the center of a pack, and that's where he is. You don't want to be where he's sitting right now. You want to sort of get out front, because if a wreck happens, he's surrounded by other trucks, and he's in a really rough spot. So his choices right now are either back off, which this late in the race with only 20 laps left, this is the time to start pushing, or you get up to the front, which is what I think he needs to do. Get a move on, get up front, get ahead of the inevitable carnage that's coming. Trucks are starting to jump around. People are starting to make plans. This is really going to get crazy here, I think.
Got a lot of heads-up racing going on up front here, though. Still, you got Kevin Brown and company there, along with Chris Jabou. Chad Coleman right there with them. So, host of a lot of trucks up front right now. I don't know who's going to pull this thing off here, though.
It's still too early to call. I think lap 74 3/4 is going to be too close to call. It's going to be very, very tight to the end. I really don't think we're going to be able to tell who's going to win this. As Scott Senzo gets a shove in the middle of the corner and gets a little bit loose. This is just going to show Daniel Falkingham's in the worst position. The person in the best position, though, Chad Coleman, as now he's getting passed. That's not good for him at all. But he was leading the way there. That's where you sort of want to be. You want to be probably the first, second, or third car in line, preferably the first car in line, to stay out of trouble.
Well, you just saw the first and second car truck right there. They worked together very well. That was Christian Boone, Kevin Brown. Dropped down on the inside to see what they could do. Scott Stencil still left up top there by himself. And again, I say with that damage, he's holding pretty good, but I know that damage has got to be hurting him a little bit. You just can't quite break through that barrier. You see it's kind of stopping him right now. It's all Kevin Brown, though. Chris Jaboo, Chad Coleman, Daniel Falkingham, Josh Parker up there, Sean Casto, Tyler Dalton in the mix. That's another one. Mike Matesi, top 10 drivers. Go a little further on back here. E.J. O'Rourke, who's up front early on, he's back in 13th right now. Ryan Howard, another one of the chase drivers, he's back in 17th. We've got, unfortunately, Joey Katina out of this one here tonight. He normally runs, very, very well at plate tracks. Just probably caught up in that wreck earlier, caught up in that incident on pit road, I think, earlier on. Nick Silver, who was up front there earlier, falling back in the back. Tommy Ryan, who was up there in the mix, not been able to. But again, this could be by strategy. These guys could just be hanging in the back. We see it time and time again. Hang out back there, and the next thing you know, boom, because guys like Justin Fuller, who, well, we know he's fast there, Jeff, but he's back in 20th right now just riding.
That he is, and it's sort of a three-car breakaway up front here. They've got really a bit of space, about 2 truck lengths of the cars behind him. That doesn't sound like much, but when you have a little bit of breathing room, it's certainly nice. The only downside is when that car in 4th, Matt Mara, it gets a run, it's going to be a big run, as it looks like the outside lane. Josh Parker is side drafting hard here, and he's got Daniel Falkingham right behind him, also side drafting hard. These guys are coming to the front. This is what Daniel Falkingham needed to do. Maybe he was listening in and heard me. Daniel, if you're listening, Chad, if you're listening, get out front and get ahead of this wreck, because it's coming. You got 15 laps left in this race. It's time to go.
Well, tempers will start heating up a little bit. Guys here start maybe different moods. To see Josh Parker get down there and cut the nose off of Kevin Brown. You're right, Mike. Don't talk about the big one. Base hush about it. Don't want to see it. Love to see this thing go flag to flag. And they have done it before here to Sim500, so it's nothing uncommon. It's nothing that is like new to them here. But again, as these guys get up here, you can feel the temperature and the heat and the stress level starting to boil a little bit, because you're like, I just can't get out front. I'm just right there. I want to get it. And you've got to do some kind of sometimes moves that you don't want to do as a driver to maybe win this thing.
If I'm a driver, I want to do any move that will get me the win. And right now, I think this win could be in the hands of Daniel Falkingham or Chad Coleman. But Josh Parker, Daniel Falkingham bails on Chad Coleman. I think that was a move he had to make. 15 laps left. That's his competitor. He does not want Chad Coleman to win this race. Daniel Falkingham wants to take home the W. And now Chad Coleman slips in a little bit of contact there. Close call, no harm, no foul, except for some hurt feelings. Scott Stenzel leading the outside line with still some front-end damage.
And here's the thing with that, too. I know you was talking about Daniel Falkingham needed to do what he did there, but again, I take it back to what we talked about earlier in the race. Why not stay up there and stay working with Chad Coleman and those two, obviously, chase drivers? There's a fine line coming down here to the end of this race of, hey, look, winning it and then finishing it, because we definitely need to finish it, because we are chase drivers. We're amongst a slew of non-chase drivers. And right now, Scott Stenzel, even with the damage, he's got E.J. O'Rourke pretty much saying, you know what, I'm going to carry you to the finish line if I have to. And that's what he's trying to do with Brian Macklin.
Pit stops are starting. I think we're going to see.
Here comes Kevin Brown.
Here. Yeah, this is the time to go.
14 to go here at Talladega. That tells us right there, it's pretty much going to be splash and go. You're not putting tires on this thing. You're just going to put enough fuel to make it to the end. Again, tires are not crucial at a place like this, and we got many, many pit stops happening right now. So, When do you think Coleman and Falkenham and them come in?
I don't think it's the time that they come in that matters so much, but it's how short their pit stop is. If I'm them, I'm taking as little fuel as I possibly can. I'm staying, you know, you can stay out, you can short pit, you can do whatever you want. You have to make one more stop. I'm probably only putting in about 5 gallons, maybe 6, depending on the math. I'm not in there. I'm sure those guys are crunching the numbers. If they've got a device that can read off their fuel level and calculate how many laps left, how many more laps they need, I'm going to add just enough fuel to make it to the end. And maybe I'd probably throw in an extra gallon for a green-white checkered, but you need to minimize the time in this pit stop. Clean entry, clean exit. Don't speed on pit road, but you got to hustle.
And a lot of it, I've seen Kevin Brown's pit stop around about the 8-7 seconds. Chris Jabou looks like it is. So obviously, in that time frame, you probably, if you wanted to put 2 tires on, you probably could. But that seems to be about a half a tank of fuel is what it looks like they're having to do. Here comes Justin Fuller, though. We haven't talked about him, but man, he's rumbling to the top side. And here we go. Daniel Falkenham and them's coming on pit road. Let's ride with them and see their pit stop here at Chad Coleman and company. This is a crucial one here. You got Josh Parker, E.J. O'Rourke, and the 45 machine there of, I'm not 100% sure on who that is. We'll get to it before I will. Nonetheless, we're going to see what Chad Coleman does. Looks like he's just going fuel only. We're going to watch his pit stop. 8 seconds, and there goes Daniel Falkenham. There goes Josh Parker. E.J. O'Rourke's coming out of pit road. So all 4 of those trucks are going to come out together. And just to give you an idea, remember who made their pit stops first was Ryan Howard and them. They're coming around turn number 1 and 2 and all. And they're going to catch. They're in a big pack right now. Going to catch those cars of Daniel Falkenham and them. Heading into turn 3, we're going to be bunched up in a pack. They're 4 wide almost in the back there.
This is going to get crazy.
Now, the good thing is those 3 trucks there, Daniel Falkenham, Josh Parker, and Chad Coleman, they were able to almost get up to speed. You know, yes, that pack's going to catch them, and it's going to catch them here on the straightaway. But, man, they are side by side right there, Kevin Brown and company. The good news is, though, it looks like Falkenham and them are going to able to stay in front of that pack. So, here we go. It's going to be a race to the end right here.
That's exactly what they needed. That's what they needed to do, is stay in front. They didn't need to do anything crazy. Just stay in front of them, and that's exactly what they did. As Scott Senzo gets a shove. Now cars re-entering the track. It's a maze. Everyone's in the minefield. 4 wide. They make it through.
Wow, I'm going to tell you what, the one lap truck up there, just like I didn't have nowhere to go. Hey, I got to give my hats off to him. He pretty much held his line up top there and just stayed, just kind of prayed. Those other drivers, boy, heads-up awareness, they didn't keep coming up on the track, because that could have been the big one in a disaster. They saw it. They had to get out of the way. But, man, still a tussle up front. Josh Parker drives to the outside. He's going to see if Scott Stencils has enough to push him. Chad Coleman, I still have a feeling here. I know Coleman would love to win this race, but to me, hook up with Daniel Falkenham if you had to push him to the win, because at some point, where Chad Coleman sits at, and let's just break this down. If this was the last lap, where Chad Coleman sits at right now, if this was the last lap, he would have no choice but to push Daniel Falkenham to the win. You can't go below the yellow line. We talked about that earlier. There's no room for you to go up there if those guys close up that gap. So you're pretty much kind of stuck where you are. And so your hope is, okay, maybe I can finish this thing second. You just see Josh Parker drop down the inside. But when you're in a position like that, really at some point in the race, you just have to go, I got to come out here with a good finish. I don't want to wreck.
Exactly. It's better to come home second and have a solid second place finish, even if it's a chase guy that wins, but finishing second is almost as good than it is to try and win it and wreck and make some enemies.
Absolutely. You're right there, Michael. What's crazy? It's really, really close. quarter racing. That's what it's all about. We're less than 10 to go here at Talladega Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. You can already see these guys, man, are back and forth wobbling there. Chris Jaboo trying to see what he can do up front. Josh Parker's leading it right now. You've got Kevin Brown, who's been up there all night long. He would love to win this thing. And Daniel Falkingham
shuffled out. He's in the middle, hung out to dry.
Yeah, see, and he took an opportunity. Well, I tell you, a chase driver taking an opportunity. I know you want to win, but man, you've got to think about the big picture here as a chase driver. Make it out of this place. Don't die. I know you want to win. That was a racer mentality. I mean, you know, and I know, Jeff, a racer mentality. You want to win the race, obviously, and you're going to try. And if you think you can put your truck in a position to do it, great. But he's got a lot more to lose than just the race.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot of mind games going on right now on lap 69 to 75. Just 7 laps to go, 6 at the line. This is where things get crazy. And I know I've said a few times, but Joe, we haven't had the big one yet. There's almost always one.
And we could, you just never know. Green, white, checkered could fly up front. You've got to look at a guy like Kevin Brown. You've seen him fight all race long. Josh Parker, 2 trucks up there who are not chase contenders, but you've got Daniel Falkingham and Chad Coleman who are in the round of 6 here. Those 2 guys have to think about. I've seen. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
And Coleman's around. Daniel Falkingham is around, or excuse me, not Daniel Falkingham, but Chad Coleman, Chris Jaboo, Brian Macklin. Oh man, Macklin, who was hoping that it wouldn't, but that started up front, some beating and banging, and I think it started with Kevin Brown. Let's go back on the replay, see if we can't get a better angle on what happened, because Kevin Brown was leading at the time, and I think it's pretty much maybe one of those we were talking about, bump draft, wrong spot, because they're obviously bumping in the tri-oval, out of the tri-oval. You see Kevin right there going down the back stretch. Oh yeah, bump draft by the 30, Chad Coleman, and then Coleman bounced off of, he just got out of shape and bounced off of Daniel Falkingham. Let's go back and get it again. So basically it was Kevin Brown was a little wiggly because of the bump draft in the corner by Josh Parker. He's trying to gather the truck up, and then Coleman just a little bump draft down the back stretch and just got that truck a little bit more out of shape. You can see right there Kevin Brown was kind of fighting with the truck, and then Coleman just a little bump draft, and it sent the truck kind of sideways up into Josh Parker, and then from there he got hooked, and then Coleman spun up into the Falkingham, and then from there it's just a chain reaction. Unfortunately, Chad Coleman and Chris Jaboo was involved in it too, but unfortunately Chad Coleman, that right there, hurting his chase opportunities. Wow, not what you want to see. Not what you wanted to see.
No, it is not, and they're probably going to hate me for saying this, but that's not a big one.
That's not a big one. Well, but it could have been. It was just where it was, how it happened, and all. Luckily, it was not the big one. And what it does do is, I think it's going to put us in a green-white checkered. It might. It's going to be close to green-white checkered.
I believe it will put us in one, but
yeah, we'll just have to see when everybody gets back on track, line back up here, because it is a big track. A lot of times it takes about 4 laps for them to get around here. But again, I get my hats off, even though this is the first caution of the night, and it doesn't cost my hats off. Obviously, 1 caution out of the whole entire race here at Talladega. That's still very impressive for them to go. Now we got to look at what we got up here, cipher through all the mayhem that happened. Josh Parker's got a little bit of damage on the front nose. We got Nick Silver up there, Matt Marara. I'm gonna say Marara. Matt M. We'll say it that way. Matt M. Yeah. Sean Casto, Ryan Howard. Now, I'll tell you what, Ryan Howard, Remember, he's in the round of 6, by the way. So he's a chase driver. And so is Justin Fuller and Trey Edson. Ryan Howard was running way back in the very back. Now he's all of a sudden up here going, how'd I get up here? You know what I mean? What happened? You know? And yes, he would probably be like, man, I'd love to win the race and just go ahead and clock myself in the final 4. But if he finishes here, very good points night for him, along with Justin Fuller and all. So, you've got to think about, again, on this restart, how much do you want to push it? How much do you want to go forward here? And, do what you've got to do and so forth and so on. A lot of different things. Unfortunately, though, for Daniel Falkenham and Chad Coleman, Daniel Falkenham came in pit road, so that's going to put him back in 18th. Coleman's going to be back in the 19th spot. So it didn't hurt them too bad, but they're going to be in a little bit of a hole, going in from here. So, with only 2 more races left before the final 4, and if this race was to end right now, you've got Ryan Howard, Justin Fuller, Trey Edson, and get our full list for us here, folks. So we'll know. You've got Ryan Howard, Justin Fuller. Now, Brian Macklin is the other one, and we just saw, so obviously he's there. So Daniel Falkenham, Chad Coleman, and Brian Macklin, not the nights that they want. They were all caught up in that wreck. Now, Daniel Falkenham really wasn't. He had a little side damage from Coleman, but I think he probably came in to get some tires to get that thing locked up, but probably not good. He might end up finishing well, because again, still, you can make up a lot of positions here at this track. The guys that are benefiting right now, Ryan Howard, Justin Fuller, and Trey Edson, those guys right now, they'd love for this race just to end right where it's at, because they'd be in the top 10, top 5, so forth, and have a good points lead going into Rockingham with this one. So it's going to be close, going to be very interesting, and it looks like when we go back green, we're definitely going to have 2 laps to go in this one. Folks, batten down the hatches. It's going to be a wild one up front. Essentially, Mike, it's pretty much, you might as well say it's going to be like a green-white, because once we go green, they're going to go around the track, and they will get the white flag. And once they get the white flag, it won't matter what they do on the track at that point. I always say they can kill themselves then. So they make it to that white flag before any other incidents. And we're just going to have to see how much the damage hurts Josh Parker. What are you thinking there, Jeff?
Not good for him, I can assure you that much, but I don't know. I've seen crazier things happen than a damaged car winning at Talladega. I believe Denny Hamlin in the, I want to say it was the Daytona Duel, had pretty much more Bondo on the car than actual race car. So
yeah.
Crazy things have happened. Josh Parker in the lead. Nick Silver on his outside.
Well, pace truck's in. Green flag's about to fly here, folks. Like I said, 2 laps left in this one here. The Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series No Bull race here. Round of 6 here tonight. Chase race, Talladega styles. They make that long march through. You got to go all the way through the trioval of this place instead of in the trioval before it. Green flag flies. We're back. We'll just have to see how much that damage factors in on Josh Parker. What does Ryan Howard and them do, man? They're back there. Justin Fuller. Ryan right now is kind of caught on the inside. Justin's probably up there at the top side. He's in the best position. He could actually go, way up to the top lane.
That he could. Maybe a run up on the outside, the 3rd lane, have something happening with Justin Fuller, Ryan Howard. Justin Fuller's. Oh, there goes Josh Parker down to the bottom.
Good move.
It's
Justin Fuller. Not the big one. No.
Not yet. No caution. No caution.
No caution. Reason why is because Justin Fuller's off the racetrack, and I hope he don't come back up on yellow flag flies. Finally, I don't know how in the world he'd come back up the track. I don't know. Let's go back and watch it one more time, because that was an unusual one. But I've got to give my hats off to Josh Parker here. And he just pulled over. He realized that the front end damage was holding up that inside lane. He pulled over, but let's watch this right here. On the inside, Justin Fuller just went down, got into Ryan Howard. He was off the track. That's why no caution. And just kept spinning. And if he would have not... Oh, he backed back up on the track. Okay. If he would have stayed on the apron, we would have stayed under green. Okay. All right. Now we're going to have a green-white checker. And I tell you what, Ryan Howard did not want to see that because Justin Fuller pretty much, again, two chase drivers, Justin Fuller and Ryan Howard. I get it. It's not going to be the most popular thing here to say, but I get it. As a competitor and as a driver, you want to win and you want to do everything you can, but championships are really probably the most important thing at the end of the day. And when you have a hopes of getting that, you have to think of that as the big picture. And I'm not saying that Justin Fuller did anything really wrong there. It's just it looked like an overdrive on his end. And you know, I say it that way, lack of a better way of saying it. And it's going to cost Ryan Howard also. Now Daniel Falkenham is going to benefit from this because he's up to 10th. Chad Coleman's up to 11th. So remember, they were involved in the wreck earlier. They might benefit with this. Ryan Howard only went back to 12th. Justin Fuller, Brian Macklin, still not the nights that they want. So, again, Jeff, at the end of the day, probably not going to be the most popular thing to say. You know, we can sit up here all day long and critique what we see. You know, drivers definitely want to win the races, but I was always, when I was a driver, if I was in that hunt, the championship was the most important thing. And if I knew that I was going to have to overdrive my car, truck, and do some risky business to win a race, I'm going to go the conservative route and make sure I finish that race.
You're right. At the end of the day, wins are great. Championships are unmatched. And I would much rather win a championship than a race, and putting yourself in a position to have a really good finish here could make all the difference in a championship.
Yeah, no doubt. What's up, Michael? Hey, what's up, Brett Wheeler? How you doing out there, man? Long time, no talk. How you doing? Yeah, all right, guys. It definitely is. It's you know, if you thought the other restart was crazy, wait till you get to this one. You know, green, white checkered here at Talladega with the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. It's going to be a good one. Now you got Nick Silver, Sean Casto, Matt, I'm going to say Matt M up there, Brandon Webb, haven't talked about him, Paul Moran right there, Mike Matesi, Jason Barham, Scott Stencil, Thomas O'Leary. And then you got 10th place for it to be the first chase driver would be Daniel Falkenham, Chad Coleman, Ryan Howard. Now all three of those, yeah, they're all three right there. But then you got to go further back with Justin Fuller back at 21st and Brian Macklin, not the night he wants, back in 31st. So those two guys, if the race ended now, are going to start in kind of a hole if those other three finish where they are. It's going to be a real crucial one. And Brett, I hope you've been doing really good, man. I hope your surgery went well and all that. I haven't talked to you in ages and all. And folks, just if you don't know who old Brett Wheeler is, check him out over there on Ultimate Dirt TV. The man does an outstanding job. He's known him when he started small. Now he's big time, and I don't get to talk to him much. So he's over here talking to the little people, and I appreciate it. Just like Jeff up here in the booth with me. He's big time now.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm still racing on the old Thrustmaster TMX. I'm still same old apartment. I haven't made it big yet. We'll see. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. As always, man, you guys have done an outstanding job, and it's been fun throughout this whole entire race, and just to see what we got. I mean, I'm kind of going to be excited here to see how this thing plays out and how this championship plays out, because I think it's going to be close to who makes it to the Final Four. And then from there, it's pretty much whoever wins. It's whoever, ends up in that one. And a long season. And it's been a grueling season for these guys here at the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series and the Sim500. So I know that whoever pulls this thing off is going to be like, wow. I see you was looking for a new wheel, by the way. The Fanatic is a good wheel, by the way.
Yep, I took the plunge this morning. I talked to my good friend Brian Tedeschi. Shelby Power 22 races in the NASCAR Heat Series, does some iRacing as well.
Yep.
I talked to him, and he was sort of the nail in the coffin that made me go Fanatec. I was very close, very close to getting a Simagic wheel, but I think at this point in my life, I just have a play seat rig. I don't need a direct drive wheel yet. I'm probably not going to have a full 80/20 rig for about a year and a half now, at the very least. So I went with the club where, yeah, the CSL Elite 2.5 with the NASCAR rim and the universal adapter, and I'm really excited for it. I really am.
Oh yeah, I still got my Thrustmaster DHX one from several years ago, but. Here we go, green, white, checkered. Green flag's out. Let's see what Nick Silver and them can do up front. Nick right now looks pretty good so far. His truck looks pretty straight. We'll have to see. Here comes the 77, though. Who's that? Brandon Webb. He's up top there. He's got help, too. So here we go. Remember, if they get to the white flag, no matter what happens up front.
Uh-oh. Gets pushed all the way up to the outside. Now they block down to the bottom. That gives the advantage to Brandon Webb, the inside line. Nick Silver's blocking hard. Jason Barham gets turned. This is it. The big one. The caution's out. Who was in the lead?
I don't know who's in the lead, but they're still wrecking. Ryan Howard's involved. Daniel Falkenham got crammed in that one. Justin Fuller did. What I'm going to tell you what, that all Chase drivers tonight have been involved in wrecks. Let's go back on the replay and see if we can't sort through this mess, because
this is for the win. Wow. There's no more green, white checkers. That's it.
No, it's not. That is it. You're right. They only have one green, white checkers. We're going to watch the replay real quick, and then we're going to decide on who won the race here. So let's watch the replay. They're back there dicing it out a little bit here, and they're coming down the back stretch. And you saw, like I said, Jason Barham got turned right there. Justin Fuller, nowhere to go. It was just mayhem. Pretty much might as well say this was the big one here. Sean Castro tried to get through. Daniel Falkenham slamming the wall. Had a truck upside down. That's the 38 machine. And 18's involved in it. Oh, man, just trucks everywhere. Sean Castro gets up there. Ryan Howard's up into the wall a little bit. Tommy Ryan, boy, he made it through it barely. Justin Fuller, unfortunately, involved in this one, too. I mean, you've just got trucks everywhere on this. So, well,
Mike Montesi wins it, but yeah, that was Jason Barham that got turned around there. He made an amazing charge up to the front, and then Scott Stenzel took a peek where there wasn't any room. I was afraid the big one would happen, and that was it.
Now,
right there.
Let me ask you a question. Was it Brandon Webb or Mike Montesi?
He scored as the winner.
I went back on the checkered flag, and it's showing Brandon Webb out in front of him. Oh.
No, now you have to reach the line.
So,
and now Brandon Webb is the leader.
Okay, I'm going back on the checkered flag here, and folks, the reason we're a little confused is because obviously that caution comes out with the checkered, but I'm going back on the checkered flag. You see Brandon Webb, he caught up to the pace truck. Mike Montesi's right behind him. Nick Silver's right behind him. They're coming out of turn 4 right now to get in the trial. Brandon Webb's still showing.
He was the winner. He was the winner.
Okay. I was just making
Brandon
sure.
Webb, that was my mistake there.
That's fine. No, well, sometimes my ticker gets a little confused. I mean, with all the mayhem that might go on, but we're just watching this replay here of him crossing the line. So Brandon Webb is going to put it in victory lane. And a wild one here. I'm going to tell you, folks. Just a wild finish here with these guys. So we'll see if these guys will jump up here so we can get a word with them. But Mike Motessi's going to end up in second. Nick Silver's going to come home in third here. As far as chase drivers, Ryan Howard survives up to 6. He's the highest chase driver there was out of all that. Then you've got to go back to Chad Coleman in 18th. Daniel Falkenham 21st. Ryan Macklin's 31st. Justin Fuller is in 11th. And I believe Trey Edson is in 12th. So Ryan Howard comes out of here pretty good. Man right there burning them down. Brandon Webb pulling it off. And like we said, could be a first-time winner here. Michael's so glad not doing this, scoring on this one. Yeah, let iRacing do all that for us, you know. Wild one. I'm going to tell you what, Jeff, what a wild one here. Kick-ass beef jerky.
What a crazy race. What an absolutely crazy race.
Yeah, just love it. Let's get our final results here so far for you guys. I tell you what like what you just said, what a wild one here for these gentlemen. Let's see if they pop up here so we can get a word in with them here.
We got Mike and we got Brandon Webb. All we need is Nick Silver.
Get off the thing here right fast. Well, let's bring up well,
we got Mike right here already. He just.
All right. Well, Mike Matesi, second place man. Let's bring him up here and then let you get a word with him.
He's wandered up into the booth here, Mike. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Good, but a great run there at the end, and that was some crazy racing. So what's going through your mind when you see this big wreck happening behind you? You know the end of the race is now here.
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't looking at that. I was kind of looking at diving under Brandon there, and I hooked him. So I'm glad. I mean, I wish I won the race, but I'm glad he was. I didn't hook him hard enough into the wall that he was able to come back and finish. So he deserved the one.
Real quick here, Jeff, and sorry to interrupt on that, but we're watching in slow-mo here the replay, and we went back on that last wreck, and we were confused on who won this race. Me and Jeff was, and he was like, Mike Matesi's won, and then I went back and looked, but showing Brandon Webb won. We just saw right there, that caution had to fly very quickly because Brandon Webb went all the way through the grass down on the infield. And obviously, iRacing probably gave his position back there. That's their scoring thing. But did you think you had won this race?
To be honest, I saw the yellow, so I'm gonna guess something behind us caused it. But it was right as I was on his back bumper, so I figured that there was a good chance he was going to win. But to be honest, I thought the way he hooked that he was going to wind up in the inside wall and get a blown motor, so I would have wound up winning that way.
Okay. Sorry about that, Jeff. I was just watching that there, and maybe that was some of the confusion that we had on the figuring out who won this thing. It was a wild one.
Absolutely. And after that great finish there, Mike, what's the plan for next week?
I don't know. Where are we running next week? Oh.
Running up Rockingham.
I don't know. I'm pretty mediocre at most tracks, so my plan is 15.
Oh, you know what? It's a reasonable goal, and there you go. Who do you have to thank for the second place finish here tonight, though?
Just thanks to Kick-Ass Beef Jerky for sponsoring this. My teammate handles that relationship, Jason Barron, and thanks for that. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on that second place run here tonight. You had a great race out there. Great work.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Well, I tell you what, like you said right there, was a wild finish and to this one here at Talladega. And well, this guy here, Nick Silver, let's bring him up here. Let's get a word with him.
Nick, in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, I was quite a race out there tonight. I want to put you on the spot though and ask you to sum it up in one word. The last 10 laps, sum it up in one word.
A crapshoot.
And why is that?
Oh, I mean, it was pretty much every man for himself there at the end, and it was just going to be being in the right place at the right time, and seemed to work out for Brandon. He got right out there in front right when they all decided to explode, and it was cool to see him get his first Sim500 win.
Absolutely. It was a great race out there tonight. What's your plan going into next week, though, at Rockingham?
It's just going to be survive. Rockingham's a driver track, so it's just going to be about, keeping your line, same lap after lap after lap, but then also keeping clean. Pretty easy to get up in the wall there. Pretty easy to get into other guys' messes. So just keep it clean, be there at the end, and hopefully pull off a win.
Sounds like a plan. And when that happens next week, do you have anyone you want to thank, though?
Well, got to thank, for tonight, my buddy and teammate Sean Casto for helping me out there. My other teammate Jeff Shrewsbury for spotting for us and the emotional support. You guys for putting on a great broadcast at OSR Network, and everybody at Sim500. And got to thank Kickass Beef Jerky for the prize pack that I won tonight. This series wouldn't be possible without them.
There it is. The winner of the prize pack tonight, the No Bull, is Mr. Nick Silver, none other. Nick, congratulations on that run there tonight and a great race, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that's what I was wondering. We hadn't really got it, and I know Nick Silver runs it, and I'm usually used to seeing those the headlines on the Facebook side. I know everything's went over to Discord, so I don't get all that great information. So again, congratulations on that No Bull there, Nick. So we're going to bring up the winner here, Brandon Webb. And I tell you what, just like we said, a wild one here at Talladega. Brandon, Joy in the booth, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I got to ask first, did you think you won this thing? Because we watched that replay, and heck, we were confused there until we found out everything got sorted out. But you went flying all through the grass to win this one.
Yeah. We had a really good run there on the last lap, and I saw them starting to stack up and get sideways behind us. And I knew Mike was going to go to the inside, so I tracked down a little bit as well. And our bumpers just don't line up. But all I could do was hope that the caution came out, right before I got sideways. But I had no idea. It took me probably a half a lap or so to figure out if I had actually won it or not.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, it's Talladega. Always says one of these wild card style races, but man, you survived the carnage, mayhem here at the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series at Talladega. Oh, the win, man, is awesome. And is this your first win here in Sim500?
It is. First win. I actually got my first top 5 last week. So this league is so difficult. It'll humble you in a lot of ways. So to get a win here, even if it is a plate track, I'll take it, man. I'll definitely take it all day.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, well, put in victory lane nonetheless here at Sim500 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. Got anybody you want to thank for the win?
You know what? I got to thank a few guys on Steel Horse Racing. Dale Knott was kind of coaching me in my ear at especially the last lap there, telling me, stay in it, keep going, that sort of thing. And Guile Brooks and Don Runkle, those guys were helping me out a lot. If nothing else, just keeping my nerves calm there at the end. But I gotta thank Mike a lot there. He and I ran really close, most of the race, just kind of hanging out mid-pack on a back. And then there at the end, we were both there together. So I got to thank him for the push to get me around the inside line there. I think it was Nick Silver on the inside.
Well, you definitely did what you had to do and was able to put in victory lane, like you said. Again there, Brandon, awesome win, awesome finish, and a wild one here at Talladega. Congratulations on that win.
Thanks, guys.
There you go, Brandon Webb. I tell you what, Jeff, wild one here, chaotic. Well, it's just kind of usual how it finishes out here at Talladega, and it was fantastic to see. Man, any final thoughts?
That race was very calm, cool, and collected until about lap 60, 65 or so, and then it just exploded. It was a powder keg, and it just blew up right there. But awesome racing. Really can't ask for anything more out of Talladega. We saw a lot of clean racing, we saw a lot of aggression, and we saw a few wrecks like everybody wants. So great racing all around, and another fantastic show here for Sim 500. And you know what? The highest finishing chase driver was Ryan Howard, then Justin Fuller in 11th, Trey Edson 12th, Daniel Falkingham 19th, and Chad Coleman in 20th, with Brian Macklin 11 laps down in 30th. That's not at all what I was expecting here towards the end, but here we are. You never know what you're going to get at Talladega.
Well, I tell you what, definitely, that's I'll say the same thing on that one. And awesome run here again. Congratulations to all the competitors and Brandon Webb out there putting it in victory lane. Well, for myself, Sim500 Kickass Beef Jerky, everyone have a good night.